for me, expressing myself with my hands does a lot more than through words.
I see the rainbow from your
It's very gratifying and it's fun because you see the product and you see whether or not you succeeded immediately. The funny thing is, I originally went into fashion thinking I'm going to make my own clothes and it's going to be really super fun and I'm going to be able to make all of my own anthropology inspired dresses, and then you realize how much work goes into every single piece, and suddenly $100 dress almost seems cheap in my mind.
see the flower blooming for love and every stranger. I see the children
I was always
running
into
into
art and sewing. I wasn't very good at sewing. But yeah, I definitely thought I would go into fashion design. It just took me, I guess, 10 years to come back around to it. Originally I was studying Eastern religions, and then I went to grad school studying Indian philosophy and Sanskrit, classical Tibetan, and Japanese, and now I'm doing fashion. The Japanese have a much different take on fashion. This is a takuban pantsu. Oh, so these are tuck pants. This is what Sanskrit looks like. Yogi, yoginam, yogina. So this is like if it's in the nominative case, the accusative, instrumental, dative, ablative, genitive, locative, vocative. Just ever since I was little, I was always drawing little anime characters in big dresses and funny silhouettes. It's pretty much what I did throughout high school, doodling on the side of my notebooks. And I just loved fashion, actually too much. This is for my bikinis and my swimwear. And I decided to do this one. And then we also have to provide a cover-up, so I used to draw them all out, and then I realized from the other students that it saved way more time to do tracing paper over. I was actually looking to go to Parsons for college, but my parents wanted me to go to a liberal arts college. Just in case if I change my mind, it's a better idea to go to a school where they have all degrees and options and majors versus choosing fashion design right away and not having any leeway or movement. So I went to UC Davis for 4 years, and that led to grad school and moving out to Boston. But I wasn't that happy. So throughout I kept trying to figure out what else I could be doing other than academics, and eventually I realized that I just wanted to go back to fashion 10 years later.
This is our first semester together. So I remember I didn't know her name, but I just said, I asked someone, what's the night, she's so nice. I just said like, that nice girl, what's her name? And they were like, Marie? And I was, oh, okay, Marie. So she was the nice girl to me. And I know she's very smart. She went to Harvard.
I completed 2 masters there, and I finished 2009, and then I came here. In between, I was doing some pre-med in psychology and trying to figure out if there was some other path in the health or sciences. I was incredibly happy in academics in the beginning. It was only towards the end in graduate school that I began to question the path that I was going down and where I saw myself in 10, 15, 20 years, and kind of questioning my motives, whether I was doing it for the prestige and the job security, which I realized there wasn't necessarily, and just sort of reevaluating where I was going, and deciding, I think correctly, that I was not happy, or I wouldn't be happy in the long run. And eventually I realized what makes me most happy is fashion. It's sort of like a full circle for me.
Quand il me prend dans ses bras, qui me parle tout bas.
When you're unhappy, you're constantly thinking, what else could you be doing? What are other people doing? Why am I not feeling comfortable in my skin? What am I doing that's wrong? Why am I not good at, any number of subjects? But once you start focusing on something that you love, then everything else comes naturally. If I take it up the 1/2 inch seam allowance, then it'll be a proper V where I want it. And then this will be the rest of the skirt. This is just practice. I don't think my stuff is that creative or unique at this point. I haven't given it enough time. One of the things that I was hoping to do this year actually is to spend more time drawing and sketching and just trying to cultivate some more ideas. I used to hate waking up early and going to work on translating ancient texts, and now I don't mind waking up early because I know that I get to do something that's really enjoyable.
I'm gonna take this off, mark it, and see if I can put it back together, and if I can, then I'm gonna do it much more dramatic. I am a student currently at the School of Fashion Design here. I don't have any big plans, but I just like to pursue fashion. I know what drives me in the morning and what wakes me up. I love it. I love it. We both like weird things, even though I try to show it more in my design. We both have a really big passion for this. We're both really dedicated. Her a lot more than me. I just think we're just kind-hearted people who are in this to milk our education for what it's worth, learn what we can learn, push our limits, push ourselves, and see what happens.
We have an annual fashion design or fashion show here, so I've been able to do that once. Dress that I did. Yeah, it just has geometric cutouts, and it's pretty big because I originally intended on having elastic to sort of cinch it all up, but they had a judging panel and they decided that they liked it like this better. The glamorous side is obviously not there behind the scenes. I mean, it's a lot of hard work. So my fingers are, getting worn down. I was actually trying to grow out my nails because I realized it was actually helping me sew, but I'm so not used to having long nails because I like to type and I don't like to hear the clicking of my nails. I finally cut them, but now I'm bleeding again because I don't have my nails to protect me from the pins. In French draping, we're doing a project, a black and white project. So it's just trying to make a garment that has both the positive and negative, using that to sort of accent or highlight the silhouette.
I would probably sew it at the neckline and leave it loose at the sides and just tack it in a couple places after I got it all done. She's a wonderful student. She's very driven, quiet, disciplined, stays focused, stays on track. Design is organic and natural and comes from within, and it's what you've seen before, it's what you've experienced, and it all comes out in your work.
I've learned so much about fashion. It's remarkable that clothes are as cheap as they are, and you realize it's only possible because of the outsourcing of resources and labor, and that nowadays everything is pretty much stretch and overlock. You just don't get the sort of couture finishing that you would find or have found in the old days, or if you had things that were truly handmade and made with care. I took pictures sort of showing my work in progress of my black and white dress. This I was definitely thinking more in terms of a cute top that I would want to wear, whereas now I'm thinking more about what sort of design aspect or idea do I want to accomplish versus what would I wear. Today is our last day, which means that we have our final crit. This is my black and white dress. This dress was a lot of different layers and steps.
I would just be super, super picky that your fourth ruffle going down, but we talked about this already, your fourth ruffle down is a definite, that's where the width of the ruffle changes dramatically, but that's also where you end up.
Yeah.
But it's really lovely. This is a very, very complicated project.
There's many things that could probably be fixed about it, but I'm happy with it. When you're working with your mind, in academics, for example, time can span endlessly. You're thinking about the past, the present, the future. When you're working with your hands, there's only the moment. In the moment, you can only think as far as you've done. So I love it. I feel like it's a way of calming myself and sort of just being here, physically present, mentally present.
But never know the words are written for you. I say goodbye to
I really do want to move to New York City, even just for a little bit, to absorb fashion and just be immersed in that whole world. I realize it's such a blessing to be able to do this, to be able to sew and to express myself artistically. So for me, it's a very glamorous, fun hobby and lifestyle. So I hope it is glamorous and fun as well once I get into the actual industry.
On the outside or the inside?
breathe the air, won't you? But now you see the